Brace yourself. It's all pretty and gorgeous right now, but we're going to get some snow tonight. We're now under a winter weather advisory.
In downtown Denver, obviously you can see blue skies, mild temperatures, not so bad. But the question is, when does it arrive and what are the latest expected totals?
Kathy's tracking it all. We want to know. We're watching our watch.
You don't really want to know.
Well, sort of.
Especially when it's like this, right? Sunshine today, almost 50 in downtown Denver. We've been tracking a little bit of snow over the Continental Divide, but the main system has slowed down. It's coming into the Four Corners area and will track east over the Colorado-New Mexico line. So the winter weather advisory for Denver has been pushed back from 5 p.m. to midnight. That means the snow will start later and the evening drive should be safe. Temperatures still comfortable, 50 in Pueblo, 34 at DIA, 42 in downtown Denver. But the wind starting to pick up. The wind has been really gusty on the eastern plains, and that all part of the system that came across Colorado yesterday that's tracking into the Midwest. But here's the storm here circulating over the Four Corners area, and it's going to head east over the southern Colorado border. Seeing some snow across the western slope, not much happening across the Front Range. Some waves coming up through Colorado Springs, not holding together. But this will all be changing. The area in blue is a winter weather advisory. Midnight tonight to midnight Wednesday for 3 to 6 inches of snow here, but just west and south, 5 to 10 inches of snow. The western foothills, the southern suburbs, Parker, Castle Rock, Kiowa, Elizabeth, heavy snow possible. In the southern mountains, 1 to 2 feet possible. And blowing and drifting will be an issue on the eastern plains due to the gusty winds which will accompany the storm, and then wind chill will become an issue as well. Here's where we sit now. By the time we get to about 9:30, some signs that the snow is starting to move up, but it may hold off until 10 or 11 o'clock, filling in overnight, ramping up during the morning drive, continuing much of the day, and then starting to wind down about this time tomorrow night. It's a fast-moving system, but impactful due to the cold, the amount of snow we're expecting, and the wind. Low 40s now, dropping into the low 30s by 9 o'clock. Coming up, details on the winter weather advisory, the winter storm warning, and the timing and amounts of snow that you'll see at your house. And then, of course, a look ahead to the weekend, Tom, just for you.
And some good news. Denver transportation officials say they do once again plan to plow side streets. Residential plows will start at 3 a.m. tomorrow. They will not plow the entire street, just a strip right down the middle.
Of course, the entire 9 News team will track the storm for you throughout the evening. And once it starts to fall, you'll be able to get an update at Channel 20 at 9 p.m. and then, of course, at Channel 9 at 10 o'clock. And tomorrow morning, they'll be starting early on the air at 4 a.m. with the latest on the road conditions, if there are any delays, closures, and the latest snow totals as well.
So anti-Semitism has always been with us. Unfortunately, it may always be with us.
A strong response today from the Jewish community at the University of Denver regarding 3 recent cases of anti-Semitic vandalism.
They happen outside 3 different rooms on 2 on-campus dorms. In each case, Jewish students appear to have been targeted. Instances that like this are raising fear in the Jewish community. The American Jewish Committee just released a new survey yesterday that shows fears of anti-Semitism are up 33% among Jewish Americans.
9 News' Matt Jablow now with the reaction from DU's Jewish community.
One of the stated missions of the Hillel Center at the University of Denver is to support Jewish life at the school.
This challenge isn't going away.
For the past few days, the university's Jewish students have needed more support than usual.
Of course, incidents like this are beyond unacceptable.
Daniel Bennett is executive director of Hillel of Colorado.
This is a mezuzah. It contains prayers, and Jews put this on our doorpost.
Bennett says since last Thursday, DU's Jewish community has been shaken by 3 separate instances of anti-Semitic vandalism right outside campus dorm rooms.
The incidents that we know of were 3 mezuzot were ripped off the doorposts, thrown into stairwells, and one of them defaced. One was attempted to be defaced, and we know that one student had pork products taped to their door.
According to preliminary data from the Anti-Defamation League, there were at least 47 anti-Semitic instances in Colorado in 2022. 8 of them happened at schools and Hillels, including one mass shooting threat at the University of Colorado.
I believe that all students should have a right to study and to congregate in safety and security.
Scott Levin is regional director of the Anti-Defamation League. He says the number of anti-Semitic incidents in Colorado has been rising at an alarming rate for the past few years.
I came to ADL 12 years ago. At that time, we were tracking about 10 anti-Semitic incidents in our region. Last year, I'm sure that number is going to be somewhere between 50 and 100.
So far, nobody's been arrested in the 3 recent cases at DU. A DU spokesman says campus police are actively investigating, but right now they cannot share any details. Kim and Tom.
That's just hard to hear, but hopefully we will be hearing more about this as the case continues, if you will.
I think a lot of people are hoping they make an arrest, and quickly.
Thank you, Matt.
Denver police have 2 teenagers in custody in connection to yesterday's shooting outside Denver East High School. The student shot is still fighting for his life. DPD says the suspects are not students at East, but do attend other DPS schools. This isn't the first act of violence near campus this school year. In September, a freshman was shot in the face just a block from campus. Students and parents say they have noticed an increase as well.
And in the last year and a half, the violence there is upticked. I don't know what to blame on that.
How bad is it going to get before, people decide that, things need to be changed?
Data shows rising youth violence isn't just a problem at East High. New numbers from the state show a 15% increase in the filings of juvenile charges. The number of youth detained for violent crime also up as well. Students are scheduled to return to class at East tomorrow. And still no arrests in a second shooting that happened near a DPS school yesterday afternoon. Denver police say it started as a fight near 18th and Lincoln, right by Emily Griffith High School. 2 groups were arguing, then police say a few people started shooting. A 17-year-old boy and a man were both hurt. There's no word on their conditions today. Police are not sure if this shooting was connected to the school.
The police chief for RTD says his agency's honor system for people paying to ride the trains and buses is leading to opportunity for crime. Incidents like the series of random attacks by kids on light rail trains over the last few months. He wants to see the stations locked down to ensure people boarding buses and trains have paid. 9 News reporter Steve Stager asked him how the agency might pay for that.
The blurry surveillance videos are graphic, showing attacks at light rail stations that appear to be random. The latest, January 31st, during the evening rush at the Decatur Federal Station, when 4 men punched and kicked a man stepping off a train.
Unfortunately, we've seen that now in 2 separate areas in our system. I will tell you that I think your average RTD customer is not the target of randomized attacks by groups of juveniles in our system.
RTD's police chief, Dr. Joel Fitzgerald, says those random attacks are just that, random. He says crime is down on RTD, with incidents decreasing 41% in December.
Our system is relatively safe.
That doesn't mean things aren't changing.
We engage in something in policing called crime prevention through environmental design.
In the bus concourse at Union Station, for example, you'll see more lighting, both from ceiling lights and lit advertisements on the walls, and video monitors showing security cameras rolling.
Part of it is mere presence, and it goes back to making sure that you have a safety present, whether it be police, whether it be some security, or whether it be having good audio and video.
And in the works at Union Station, some sort of system like turnstiles to ensure people who are down here are paying customers.
If you don't allow from the very beginning people to go past a certain point that is a paid fare area, those types of changes can help reduce the amount of crime and can really limit the access that criminals have to people who are just trying to enjoy a safe transit environment.
That may work in this bus concourse with stairwells in and out, but so much of RTD's system is wide open, train platforms where anyone can walk up. The chief says they are still part of the conversation.
A big part of what our plans are for RTD insofar as public safety is ensuring that the transit environment is locked down.
That takes money. How are you going to get that done? Money is something I know you don't have a whole lot of.
Indeed. I can't answer really how much money it's going to take to secure this environment. So at this point, it hasn't come down to a number, but what it's coming down to is a willingness to move in that direction.
This is all part of a wide-ranging security plan, which includes beefing up the transit police force, adding more than 50 officers by the end of this year, and making some changes to RTD's code of conduct, banning people from riding the train or bus all day with no destination. Our full 30-minute unedited conversation with Chief Fitzgerald is up on 9news.com right now.
You know, when you talk about relatively safe and how much money it might cost to do what he'd like to do, those may be going in different directions.
Yeah, you know, it may have to start with areas where you've got one way in and one way out. I think of light rail stations like Louisiana Pearl, where there are stairs that lead down. That might be an area where it would be easier to add that kind of infrastructure. But some of the light rail platforms downtown are just wide open out on the street. It would be really tough to kind of say only people who have paid a fare can walk through this area.
A challenge, but an important one. Thanks, Steve.
Her car was engulfed in flames. Then 2 police officers sprung into action. An unbelievable, heroic rescue on the way.
We're here, we exist, we're valid, and love will win.
A tribute doubling as a special lesson of love on this Valentine's Day, delivered on the Colorado House floor.